A young, charismatic police officer from Detroit heads to Beverly Hills to investigate the death of a close friend. Eddie Murphy was a standout in his short time on Saturday Night Live and immediately started appearing in movies, first 48 Hours and then Trading Places, before landing his breakout superstar-making role as Axel Foley in Beverly Hills Cop. This was a movie I watched over and over as a young kid, and I should probably not have been watching this movie over and over as a young kid. But Murphy was just so funny and full of energy and had this unique and contagious laugh. Then I didn't watch the movie for about 20 years, and when I finally watched it again, I found it to be less funny and more formulaic than I remembered. And then I watched it again a few years later, and now I'm back to loving it again. This is your typical fish out of water story. Axel Foley is a street cop from Detroit, so of course he's not going to fit in the richest county in America. And that's what makes it funny, right? Axel Foley is a smooth talker. Now, I don't think the things that he says would fool anyone in real life, but in the movie, his fast-talking shenanigans fool just about everyone. The movie came out in 1984, so it feels a little rough around the edges. The film has aged quite a bit, and it looks pretty gritty. It isn't sloppy, but it feels more lived in and realistic than newer movies, including both Beverly Hills Cop 3 and 4. It's kind of how new music, it's all perfect. The drums always hit right on the beat, and the singer never sings a sour note. And because it's so perfect, it doesn't feel authentic. Beverly Hills Cop is like 70s rock and roll. The drummer plays with groove and feel, and he doesn't always land right on the beat, and that's what gives the music life. Eddie Murphy and the rest of the cast aren't perfectly polished, and that unpolishedness is what gives Beverly Hills Cop its charm. But it isn't just Eddie Murphy. His new Beverly Hills police officer friends Taggart and Rosewood add a lot to the movie as well. Rosewood is the young, naive rookie who loves guns. You might not find out that he loves guns until part 2, I can't remember. And Taggart, the older, more streetwise cop who is always in a bad mood because he is always in a fight with his off-screen wife about something. Taggart and Rosewood and their superior officer, Lieutenant Bogomil, they all play by the rules. Foley is a great cop and he gets the job done, but he sometimes bends the rules a little bit to get that job done. Now, this is what gives these guys great chemistry, and it is the center of most of the humor and tension in the movie. If you ask anyone what they remember about Beverly Hills Cop, though, it's probably not Eddie Murphy, or John Ashton's Taggart, or Judge Reinhold's Rosewood, or even the case that the movie's plot is about. Most likely, they're going to say the thing they remember the most is the theme song, Axel F by Harold Faltermeyer. It is arguably one of the all-time best movie theme songs. I don't play piano, but I know how to play a few melodies with one finger, and Axel F is one of them. On my most recent rewatch, my wife and I laughed every time that song came on because it came on so much. It kind of reminds me of the John Mellencamp song Small Town. He says small town about 700 times in that song, and every time he does, it gets funnier and funnier. So every few minutes in Beverly Hills Cop, the action's gonna pick up and Axel F is gonna start playing at full volume. In the later movies, when the song was played, they would do slight variations of that theme and it was more subtle. But in the original, it's always that same Axel F song over and over, and it is never not awesome. Now, of course, Axel F isn't the only iconic song in the movie. The Heat Is On by Glenn Frey also plays in the movie, and there's no way it doesn't immediately put you in a better mood when it comes on. Beverly Hills Cop probably wouldn't have been quite the smash hit had it come out today, but in 1984 there was nothing like it. An action comedy with the funniest man in the world featuring killer tunes and a great supporting cast. It didn't need 3 sequels, but it got them anyway, and while none of those sequels live up to the iconic, fast-paced, fast-talking 80s classic, they are all worth at least a one-time watch. Driving a flaming semi-truck through a neighborhood, doing a stakeout with new friends, hanging out with a perfect stranger, a very obvious not Eddie Murphy stunt double, reading a magazine before becoming Mike in Breaking Bad, wearing a sleeveless shirt and a truck full of cigarettes,